The day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Well, folks, today we're going to jump into gigantic, sharp, interactive board. I want to share my thoughts on Epson's second quarter, their first half for their FY, which will end in March of 2026. And Epson, I just got to say, what's the bullshit with the profit category? Seriously, I had to get that bull that's taking a poop from the Konica financials, and I'm throwing on yours again. I talked about this during your first quarter presentation I did, but what the hell is this all about? I mean, the segment profit. Hey, look at our segment profit. But then when you look at the operating profit, it's $240.8 million difference to the segment profit. It's just like, what the hell are you doing here? Then you see business profit, segment profit, operating profit. It's the operating profit that counts. And I also want to challenge Epson probably a little more aggressively than I've ever challenged them before. And I'm going to start with the very next slide in that challenge. When will Kyocera dominate the inkjet revolution? Because I don't think it's going to be Epson. Epson, they had so much opportunity to go in to that business world and just rip the crap out of laser. And they just seem like they want to fit in. They're not really moving the needle financially in that category. And to be honest with you, and anybody that's paying attention to the Document Imaging channel would agree with this, but Kyocera gets a lot more hype with their one machine. They got one inkjet machine in the production space. They're getting all kinds of press. They're getting all kinds of, accolades. I think about Epson. I mean, even Kyocera, you got Xerox selling the machine now, right? I mean, think about that. Folks, you got Ricoh's out there selling the machine. And Epson, who are their OEM partners? They don't have any. I guess they just think they could just keep doing what they're doing. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Kyocera has a damn advantage. And you know what it is? They have a dedicated dealer network and understand the dealer marketplace worldwide. And I just don't believe Epson has a clue. I don't believe Epson has a clue to how to deal with dealers. And that's really been the holdup to them. And the day that Kyocera takes that damn inkjet technology and moves it downstream, they're going to dominate the space. So I guess from Kyocera's perspective, they don't want Epson to do much more than they're doing right now. Just kind of poking right along and not really disrupting anything. Ladies and gentlemen, I looked up the new leader. So we got a new leader here in Americas, and I got a lot of dealers that I know that sell the Epson product, and I'm just, I'm thinking this new person that came out of Latin America, he was running that. I got to ask the goal, is the goal to go direct? Because I'm looking at this guy's background. Let me just read this to you. Responsible to provide sales strategic direction for the Epson commercial and industrial organization in Latin America, overseeing this expansion and all product areas, channels, government, and end user needs. Latin America territory includes 9 Epson subsidiaries and 2 sales offices covering 17 countries in the Caribbean. Is that a direct operation in Latin America that he was running? Because that means he's probably going to come here and do the same thing. Is that what he's thinking? Maybe Epson's going to go direct. Good luck with that. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't. It seems to me you'd bring in a leader that could understand how to really navigate through that dealer world and build up that independent dealer network and go out there and figure out how they're going to disrupt laser, how they're going to disrupt the whole entire dealer network by bringing inkjet to the end users. I don't see it happening. Now that I look at this guy's background, I'm thinking probably going to go more direct. And I would ask this, what's the dealer advantage? What's the advantage that a dealer has going with Epson over any other OEM? I mean, what do they do? Come in and tell you, yeah, we don't have any heat, so there's less parts. I mean, because that's, they've been saying that forever. I mean, everybody says that regarding inkjet, but what's the program? Do you have a program to really get that dealer excited to wipe out those lasers? The dealers I'm talking to, they seem to think it's a lackluster program. Folks, let's look at their numbers for the first half. Total revenue is $4.3 billion. They say they got a business profit of, 5.6% or $243.3 million. And then they say, the profit from the operating profit, that's at 4.7%, $203.2 million. That's really the number that I care about. The operating profit, $203.2 million, 4.7% on $4.3 billion top line revenue for the first half. But folks, you know what? Here's the thing that drives me out of my mind. Epson's got 3 basic business units. They got printing solutions, right? They got the visual communications, and they got the manufacturer-related wearables. So if you look at the segment profit of those 3 business groups, Well, it totals $444 million. And the business profit on this last page, let me go back a page. The business profit was 243.3. So I don't know where the hell that number comes from. But if you add up the segment profit, well, it's 444 million. And then the operating profit is 203.2 million. So the question I'm asking is, where in the hell did 240.8 million go? You see what I'm saying? It's just nuts. And there it is right there on the consolidated statement. I mean, folks, you got the revenue of $4.3 billion. You got the cost of sales minus $2.8 billion. You got the gross profit of $1.5 billion. You got the selling and general administrative expenses minus $1.3 billion. You got other operating income, some additional income, plus $16.9 million. And then you got other operating expenses of $57.3 million negative, which brings you down to an operating profit of $203.2 million. So how much operating profit is the print piece doing? I mean, seriously, because let me just go back to that slide, because I think it's just insane. You know, you're showing the print business doing $355.5 million in segment profit. Really? Again, I think we need to be focusing on the operating profit. And folks, here's the other thing. If you look at the business segments regarding print, so print overall, $3.1 billion for their top line revenue for the first half year. Of course, they're saying they had a segment profit of $355.5 million. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn on the board right here, and I'm just going to cross that off because I think it's totally irrelevant at this point. Let's look at the company's operating profit, okay? Now we go over here to the business segments. We got the home and office, inkjet, Soho Home, the small stuff, $1.6 billion to the $3.1 billion. We got the office shared. That's where that machine that could go out there and really change the game for dealers all over the world selling business print, right? Well, it did $276.4 million for 6 months. Seriously. So where are they going to come in? 600 million? I mean, folks, at the end of the day, it just doesn't seem like they're really taking that serious. They don't seem to be able to understand the huge opportunity they have to completely disrupt a huge TAM. And I'll share some thoughts on that in a second. We got the laser printer and that stupid paper lab thing, right? I mean, 6 months in, 199.3 million. But folks, the small printer and others, you know, the little portable label printer, this other little printer they got, $258.7 million for the 6 months. Damn near the same amount of revenue as the shared office. It doesn't even make sense, right? You would think that shared office would be flying out the door. Dealers would be replacing that laser stuff every day with this inkjet technology. Let's look at our commercial and industrial, the finished products, $785.5 million for the first 6 months. Literally crushing what they're doing in that shared office. And you'd have to ask yourself, why is that? I think it's just a lack of vision, to be quite honest with you, and a lack of strategy, and probably a lack of a real program for the dealers to switch, to get them excited to wipe out laser and put in the Epson inkjet. Folks, you know, they got this AV business. Now look at this AV business, $585.2 million for the first half. I mean, think about it. AV business, $585.2 million for 6 months. When the office shared is at $276.4 million for 6 months. I mean, twice as much in this visual communication stuff. And folks, I got to tell you, if you're a Sharp dealer, pay attention to what I'm saying right here. I mean, look what Epson's doing. You know, Sharp doesn't share how much they're doing in revenue with their audiovisual and all that stuff, the stuff that I really like that Sharp sells out there. But if you think about it, if Epson's doing $585.2 million for their first half of the year, how much is Sharp doing? And dealers, you really need to take audiovisual seriously. And, you know, is Epson even working with the dealers that are selling the office shared products to sell this audiovisual stuff? Or they just, don't worry about that, just turn it over as a lead. You think they would be doubling down trying to figure out how to build really robust programs for those dealers. I just don't see them doing it. Don't see them doing it at all. You know, I showed this slide as this bottom part of the slide, as part of the Xerox when they were talking about the TAM. And folks, when you think about this, there's literally a $21 billion TAM between A3 MFPs, black and white and color, and production black and white and color. $21 billion. And Epson could play in that $21 billion. Well, they'd have to come out with a black-only inkjet if they could get past their, you know, mindsets. Oh, it's got to be color so we can sell more ink. Well, you could sell all the ink, both black and white and color, if you actually had a program, your product, and you had a discipline to go out there and knock out laser. A4, MFP, both black and white and colors, a 31.6 billion TAM. And so if you think about it, our friends at Epson have this office shared, and it's going to do about 600 million for the whole year. They're a small player, and they're not near aggressive enough to go after the industry in a way to disrupt the hell out of it. It's a shame, because I really think they had a great opportunity. I want to end the way I started. When will Kyocera dominate the inkjet revolution? Or will Epson say, we're not going to wait for Kyocera to come, we're going to go do it ourselves? Keep in mind the Kyocera advantages. They understand the dealer network. They have a whole network of dealers. Kyocera, if this doesn't motivate you to bring that ink downstream, I don't know what the hell will. And Epson, if this doesn't motivate you to figure out how to build a network of dealers that'll go out there and sell that office shared product of yours, I don't know what to tell you. Because both of you have a great opportunity to disrupt the status quo. Unfortunately, I don't think neither one of you are playing hard enough to make that disruption happen. And it's time to make it happen, because everybody watching me knows this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck there, and I'll see y'all on Monday.